YouTube? Today's video, I'm gonna go over one of the biggest quality of life changes in the last 2 years. And it's actually kind of a funny video because this quality of life change has probably saved me so much time that I think I've actually added days to my life because of this change. I don't know if you have actually haven't played PoE since before Heist League, that you probably haven't really noticed this change. And I do know a lot of new players don't really utilize this change because they don't really know about it. It's not really like well explained. There's no real tutorial in PoE that tells you to do this. And most people don't have like stash tabs right away. So maybe this video can convince you to buy stash tabs, even though I'm not sponsored by GGG. But I do think if you're going to play this game and you want to invest into the game, buying stash tabs is going to save you days and potentially even months off of your life, right? If you do decide to fully commit to this game. But let's start off by looking at what PoE used to be like before this change. Now, this is one of my top 50 favorite PoE streamers, and this is actually a Lost Ark main right now, but he used to make this one video that I found was very funny, and it was how to sort your dump tabs after mapping. And it's kind of crazy, right? Because you think like, oh, there's not that much stuff in the dump tab, right? But you look at this dump tab, you can see essences, you can see currency. It's everywhere, right? You can see gems even. Now, gems is something kind of new, right? You can see fossils. It's everywhere, right? So what do you actually have to do? So look at him. He is manually clicking all the currency out, and then he's gonna manually sort all of the essences and stuff away. Look at this. Look how much extra tedious work this is. Now, if you guys don't know what the biggest quality of life change already is from watching this video, at this point, it is stash tab affinities. And look at him. All of that manual grunt work just to do what we can do today in one click into our dump tab, right? And this is not really like a small undertaking. Like this video is honestly like, what, like 20 minutes long. Look, he's taking out the maps too. And this is just like a small demonstration. Look how many dump tabs he potentially has, right? He has hundreds, or not hundreds of dump tabs. That's ridiculous. But so basically what he's doing, he's taking all of the currency out. He's putting the currency into another dump tab. And then from that dump tab, he's sorting it into fossils, essences, and currencies. And then he's putting it manually into the currency tab, the fossil tab, the essence tab, the fragment tab, the map tab. But you pretty much get the gist, right? So I personally remember every single time I finished a mapping session in the day, I would dread doing this, right? This is akin to going to college, or not going to college, but going to school, coming back home, and having to do homework, right? And that's pretty much what this is. This is just busy work. It's tedious. It's not fun. And thinking back on it, I probably wasted days of my life doing this. I know QoL's probably wasted months of his life doing this with how much dump tabs he used to have. But this is actually just crazy, right? So what is it like now? And most people know. Well, the change happened in November 4th, 2020. Mark this day down in history because this is when Exiles came back days, hours, months of their lives, right? And this happened in the middle of one of the worst leagues in PoE history. GGG decided to give us an early Christmas present no one even expected, right? So it came out actually on November 4th. Now, what was one of the worst leagues in PoE history? Well, one of the worst leagues in PoE history is none other than the Door League, known as Heist League. So it's actually kind of crazy that they didn't actually release Stash Tab affinities during the start of the league. And I do think that GGG pretty much just releases stuff as they get finished. And especially with the poor reception to Heist League, I think they try to release this to try to get more people to play. And it's actually kind of funny, right? This like random changes happened in Heist League. And it had been rumored for quite a while that they were going to be adding Stash Tab affinities sooner or later. And I actually personally underlooked Stash Tab affinities. I did not really consider how much time I was going to be able to save from Stash Tab affinities. And yeah, so this thing happened and it was actually completely game changing and the game became a lot more enjoyable. So another thing that people ask, did the game become more pay to win with Stash Tab affinities? And this is something that's kind of brought up a lot. A lot of times in my stream, I bring up Lost Ark and someone is always talking about, well, PoE is pay to win too. And then you know what I say? Yeah, PoE is pretty pay to win. Like if you say you have a gauntlet setting, like it's a competitive race because you're competing against other people, you take the best player in the world, same skill. One person has premium stash tabs with like full map tab, fragment tab, essence tabs, and everything, and another person has the basic game. The person is going to beat the shit out of the other person who has just the basic stash tabs, right? And that's just something that's just what happens, right? But PoE is a free to play game, and if you are going to play the game in the future, I highly recommend buying a currency tab, a map tab, and a fragment tab as the basic tab you should buy. Gem stash tab and flash stash tab that just came out are pretty useless. You can pretty much just take a normal tab, right? Like say you have like this tab and you can pretty much do gem and flash and it'll pretty much put it there. There's really no need to buy the gem or flash tab. The most important tabs are like even divination card you don't really need are the tabs that actually have a lot of storage space, right? So imagine storing all of these maps. It's kind of crazy. Storing all of these fragments is insane. All of these currencies is actually just crazy, right? So those are the main three tabs I would highly recommend. So let me know down below what are your favorite stash tabs to buy if you could choose like 3 or 4 for a beginner, right? Now, you also might be wondering what other potential quality of life updates in the future could potentially change the game as much as it has changed today, right? Or Stash Tab Affinities. And I do think that some of these changes are actually bigger than Stash Tab Affinities, but will we ever get these? I don't really know. So, number one is loot pets. Now, look at these cute pets that they have in the China shop. So, there is 2 versions of PoE. There's one owned by Tencent, and they pretty much just own all of the copyrights to PoE, so they can pretty much do whatever they want to the game. And in the Asian culture, pay to win is a lot more commonly accepted, which is why Lost Ark is so pay to win. So pretty much these loot pets can pretty much loot all these currency items for you. So you can see here, this is the what the pet has ended up looting. It loots all of the portal scrolls, the wisdom scrolls, the baubles, the whetstones, the armor scraps. And this change would be really good. I do think that is not as needed anymore because they made the currency stack. But before they made the currency stack, the loot pets would have been absolutely necessary. And I do know a lot of people complain about carpal tunnel in PoE. It's kind of a common complaint, right? A lot of people say their hands are falling off. They have to go see the hand doctor. I've even had some people tell me that the hand had to get amputated, maybe. So you can pretty much see that loot pets could potentially save the health of a lot of people playing PoE, right? Now, another thing, and this change I actually think would be bigger than Stash Tab Affinities were, which is some type of currency exchange auction house. I know a lot of people don't really like the currency auction house because they do think that the currency auction house would just be completely broken. But I do think if you put everything in the bulk item exchange in some sort of asynchronous auction house, however you want to do it, I do think that this will be very healthy for the game and it would make buying mapping supplies a lot more enjoyable. Like personally for me, I actually dread doing any juice maps because it's so annoying buying all of the compasses nowadays. You have to buy all the scarabs. You have to buy sextants to roll it if you don't want to do that. And then buying scarabs if you want to do like super juice content, you need to buy like winged scarabs or gilded scarabs. And it's just a really annoying thing. Like the best thing honestly for that is just using the TFT Discord and finding someone to buy it. So let me show you something real fast because I actually was buying stuff one by one, mainly charge compasses. And look at this. There is a section on the TFT Discord called Want to Sell Bulk Compasses. And this section actually saved me so much time. It's actually kind of crazy. So in here, you can see all of people pretty much list all of the charge compasses they have. And you can pretty much buy a full set, like 7x Mirror of Delirium at once. You can buy it with Beyond, right, at once. So this helps out a lot in terms of saving time. And yeah, some sort of currency exchange auction house would be a huge addition to the game. No, overall, from all of these changes, I found that the stash tab affinities have probably saved days off my life, especially when I'm like sorting through the dump tabs. If you think about it, like probably a 2 day session of mapping, you'll probably spend like 2 to 3 hours just sorting through the dump tab in the past. So those 2 to 3 hours adds up. So if you do like 16 days of mapping, you pretty much spend a day doing sorting. And it's kind of crazy how much time I've probably spent in the past just sorting through the dump tabs, putting all of the currency into the currency stash tab, and it's just crazy, right? But sometimes I might reminisce about the days when I spent 3 to 4 hours sorting through all the dump tabs because it just felt so good seeing an empty dump tab, right? And that was one of the best feelings in the world. Just kidding, right? Because no one really enjoyed doing that. But one day in the future, I do think that PoE, we will have loot pets one day. We will have asynchronous trade. We will have better zoom levels. Now, this is not something that people always mention, but the game is too zoomed in, and it feels really annoying to do play. And I do think a lot of people actually do complain about the zoom levels in PoE. And lastly, we'll have perfect performance at 400 FPS. I won't be stuck at 60 FPS and laggy and delirium. But that's something that's going to come in PoE too, I'm pretty sure. Let me know down in the comments below if you do think that all of these changes will happen before the year 2030. But thanks for watching, everyone. And if you have any other ideas about huge quality of life changes that would change my life playing PoE, let me know down in the comments below. And see you next time. Bye.